we are underway for one-shot qualifying. We'll be riding aboard with Joseph Hales to begin with. AX in the seat of Taylor Barnard. Red Bull Ring hosts the opening round for Season 7 in FVGP. 10 corners, a very short, very high-speed lap. Also, to everybody watching along, please let me know if the audio is too low, too high, or needs any sort of adjustments. Please let me know otherwise. Slowest, or one of the slowest corners up at the top of the circuit, turn number 3 that is, heading towards turn 4 after the third DRS zone of the circuit. However, only second activation on a one-shot qualifying. Not overly much to talk about during the qualifying session, coming around the final 2 corners. Looks to be heading up, gained a big amount of time, moving up to 3rd temporarily, but then falling back down to 5th place. Might get a good run out the final corner, up to 3rd once again. And it's going to be 3rd on the grid for Joseph. Pole position taken by what looked to be a 1:13.5. And that is it for qualifying indeed. A 1:13.596 sees Alfie up at the top of the field. Fishy on debut for FVGP Formula 1. 2nd place, also on the front with a 1:13.7. Moving on down the grid, Hales in 3rd, Broughton 4th, Leslie in 5th place, Geordie 6th, Skoda in 7th, 8th place goes to Champsco, 9th for EGW, and 10th for Jack East. That front 6 is looking very well packed together. It should make for a very exciting race. 2 races tonight, as is the Formula 2, a 10-lap sprint and a 14-lap feature, one of which has a reverse grid. Don't go anywhere, we'll be underway very, very soon. And welcome back to FVGP Season 7. After a very quick one-shot qualifying, we're heading towards the sprint race. Formation lap is underway. Top 10 reversed from qualifying. Only 10 people have qualified for the race. So starting on pole position will be Jack East 01 and alongside EGW 483. Jack East, I'm pretty sure, has been around for a couple of rounds in the past, but EGW is a new name in the Formula Velocity F1 Games series. It'll be very interesting to see how they do on their debut. Moving down to 3rd place, Champsco with the Red Bull liveried car, hoping to move forward after a not so great qualifying for them, just over 2 seconds off the pole position pace. Further on down the grid, MP Motorsports Skoda VRS, hoping to also move forward, but has some very, very big names behind them. Top 6 in qualifying, which was just the next 6 down, were all very compact together. Only 0.6 of a second between all of them, from pole down to 6th. ARTs of Born Jordy and Leslie will be 5th and 6th. These two are very quick drivers and will be hoping to move forwards and should make very, very easy work some of the ones up at the front, but it is all about passing at this short track, and there's not many places to do so. Broughton starts down in 7th place, Joseph down 8th. 9th place going to another FVGP Formula 1 game debut of Fishy, a very successful driver over in the Forza side, hoping to impress on their debut on F1. Spinning, there goes what looks to be the car of... not sure actually. And Alfie, our pole sitter for the feature race, will be starting down in 10th. Final preparations underway. We'll jump over to the 3rd place car of Champsco. This is not very good cameras, so we'll be jumping on board for the start of the race. That is all cars in their slots. A little bit too far forward there. Lights are coming on. 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go. Very good launch there from Champsco. Immediately getting up to 2nd place. Looks to be having a go for 1st. Immediately challenging up the inside. 3 wide behind. Very big lockup. Already contact between them. Couple of cars going round. Number of end plays. And that's a very big accident there for one of the cars that looks to be Geordie, already into the wall. Caution out in sector 1. Doesn't look to be any safety car coming out of that. Heading up towards turn 3, nearly 4 abreast up at the front of the way. EGW still leading, Champsco in 2nd. Leslie And Joseph already making huge gains up the field. Not able to make anything come out of it in turn 3. Still challenging for the lead though is the Red Bull livery car. Big lockup heading towards the next corner. Keeps it under control. That's going to be a very uncomfortable flat spot and a lot of tyre damage, especially on the first lap. Chaos and Leather going side by side, somehow keeping it on the track, both of them. A little bit out of control off the corner for Leslie, keeps it underway though, stays ahead of Joseph. Very impressive driving from these two, getting back both of those two, Joseph and what I think to be the car of Fishy running off the road. And that is already lap 1 done. 1:22.703 is the first fastest lap of the race, but that's not going to be representative. The times after this lap will be though. A little bit of lock up once again at the front. Joseph having a go for third place is going to be on the inside line, getting the slipstream for turn 3. Champsco having a look to the inside as well. This is going to be very close to these two at the front. Having a big dive, locking just again, slightly gets the move done, but can he stay there? The acceleration is going to be all that matters. He can't stay there. EGW gets off the corner, but there's another yellow flag at the background for the MP cars, I think, coming together temporarily. Every which way Champsco looked, he just can't make the move work. He keeps locking that front tyre, so that is going to be very difficult to drive if he keeps doing that. Now Leslie getting in the mix as well. Back from the lead of the... We're looking on from the back of the leader's car, pulling out a little bit of a gap, but how bad are those tyres already looking for that car? Be a little unsteady on the corners, runs wide through the second to last corner. Don't want to do that too many times again off the final corner, do it too many and you will pick up a penalty. 1:17 down to a 1:16.697 is the first fastest lap of the race from JL Broughton. Make that Geordie with a 1:16.1 now, very quickly coming down the way. This proves the effectiveness of the slipstream and good tyres. Speaking of the slipstream with the DRS open, here comes Leslie looking to the left hand side of the circuit up towards turn 3. Can he get the move done? Has to stick around the outside. The outside's long enough. A big rear end there from EGW straight into the back of Champsco. And I think that might just help him a little bit, but no, Leslie's going to get onto the lead. Both of them with the DRS. Can't defend that one in a straight line very easily. Here comes EGW once again, trying to have a look around the outside. Goes into the back of Leslie this time. And round goes the car of Champsco. From the lead, will be falling all the way to the back of the grid. Over to the replay view of that. All things settle out, just a little bit too ambitious into the corner and then spins up the rear wheels. Spinning out immediately, he's going to be very unhappy about that one. Leslie into the lead over a second with a gap, meaning Broughton's not going to get any DRS assistance down towards turn 1. Fishy will get it on Broughton though, jumping on board with them. Trident making massive gains down the straight, having a look to the inside of turn 1. Can they make it? Will Broughton hold on around the outside? As fast as final set for Fishy. Doesn't really make it, getting together just a little bit, nearly off the right hand side of the circuit. Broken front wing for Broughton's going to be very painful for him round the next of the corners. And for the rest of the sprint race, they are all still on top of each other. Nearly 5 cars in one location heading towards the corner. Somehow they all keep it out of each other. Off the track goes the Williams livery car of Alfie. Fishy moves up to second place, but there is still a bunch of cars. Here goes Joseph having a look to the inside of the corner. Getting it done nice and easy, locking up the wheels, heading from the outside of the track, and he's off into the gravel, spinning up the rear wheels and loses all the positions in one go just as quickly as he made them. Drivers struggling for grip any which way, all of them trying to go for one place. Yellow flags out behind for EGW. That's a slow moving car, they get cleared away very nice and easily though. But while all this is going on, Leslie is just rocketing into the distance, nearly 2 seconds. And just like that, it is another lap down, approaching the halfway point of this race. DRS assistance for all of them except Fishy. However, a big gap there for Fishy, so no moves into turn 1. At least not very easily. Joseph is right on the back of Broughton's car, just needs to keep it under control this time. Moving towards turn 3. Another lock-up for the leader of this group. Very ambitious look to the inside there from Skoda. Doesn't make anything of it. This group has caught up significantly on that straight to Leslie. What was a 1.8 second gap down to 1.2. Another big front lock from Joseph running wide just a little bit again. Not want to do that too many times throughout this race. Bit of a gap forming now between the front group. Fishy is getting within a second. They might be able to get it to within a second before the DRS detection zone, and I think that just about was third and fourth place. Bit of a gap forming, so it's now top 3 is running away from the rest of the grid. We'll see in a second once the camera changes whether or not that rear wing is open, or maybe not, we won't, but it was. DRS was open there for Fishy. That is a big gain now, only half a second separating first and second, and another half between second and third. Hales is falling back. Here comes Broughton having a look to the left hand side of the track. Easy pass there for the DRS assistance. Leslie falls down to second place as Fishy gets into the lead on their first race. They've got to defend now towards the next corner. Two cars, two very fast drivers, both the DRS. Leslie having a look to the left hand side, going to be side by side into the corner. Lock up for Fishy on the inside, holds the inside line, forcing Leslie the long way around. The Dutchman having to keep it there, and does keep it there. We'll have the inside for the next 2 corners if they can get the better line. Side by side, still there somehow, still too wide for the next couple of corners. To be a little bit of contact, maybe the rear end of Leslie's car giving away just a little bit. That moves back into the lead for Leslie. Alfie going to be side by side as well with Fishy. Heading towards second last corner. Can they keep it too wide? No. Alfie backs out. Fishy having another look. Once again, we'll have the DRS assist, so we'll move on to the rear end look of Leslie's car. That is a very good run up the corner there for Fishy. There'll be much better run up towards turn 1 for them. 2 by 2 once again. They are not leaving anything on the track yet. Leslie might be able to get it 2 by 2, but they're going to have to go the long way around through turn 3. That's not a very good way to go. Alfie's going to be there, and a bit of a spin, bit of contact. They might be all very well going 3 wide to the next corner. Alfie having a look to go through to the lead. Fishy's still going to be there, possibly side by side. Both the Williams livery cars going to have to go through, and a bit of a rear end. One of them's round. Alfie's round. A big snap of the rear end of the car for Fishy, but that will bring it all right back together. That gap separating the 2 groups is now falling, and Alfie is out of the top 3 fight. Don't think we caught really much of what caused that spin. Heading over to look at the replay while things are calm for just a moment. It's just over ambitious from what I presume is Leslie into the corner, causing that car to get spun around. Very unfortunate for him. But we resume the battle for the lead and the battle for the podium positions. Here comes Fishy once again, having a look to the inside, locking up just a little bit, keeps it on the track and gets the move done. Gets a second helping of DRS towards the next corner as was behind at the detection point, but will the slipstream from Leslie be enough? DRS is closed and opens again. Big lock up this time round as Hales moves into third place, getting past Broughton, but Broughton gets a better exit off the corner. Which one of them will win the drag race down to the next turn? It looks to be Hales initially, but Broughton is coming back. Big changes all around the grid. 4-way fight for third place, the final podium position. 2 seconds separate the front 2 to this next group. Half second up there though, so we'll keep an eye on that interval fight. However, we'll focus our attention to this 4-way fight for the final podium position. Partial broken front wings for both Broughton and Hales. Looks to be fine in favour of Alfie and Skoda. However, a lot of lockups continually around some of these corners. Heading towards Hales to the inside, into third place towards the corner. Skoda had a look against Alfie. He couldn't make anything of it. The MP Motorsport teammates not willing to lose anything. Here comes Broughton, though. The air assistants up to the left-hand side also might be losing place to Alfie. They're going to be side by side. Once again, huge lock up into the corner. Can't see what's happening. Broughton keeps ahead. Hales into fourth place, but Alfie's not going to let this go easily. He's going to move up into fourth as well. Going to be side by side with Joseph, even moving ahead of them. Jumping forward with the car of Skoda. Hopefully see through the smoke a little bit easier. Big lock from Skoda into the corner. Tyre screaming. Time is very quickly running out for this lot. They want to get any of these big paying points positions for the sprint. They've got to make it count now. Caution in Sector 2 as the car of Champsko spins round. Not going to cause any problems for this group. Here we go. One final lap remaining. Side by side up at the front. Broughton and Alfie going to be going right at it. Alfie moves up into third place. Broughton still going to be pressured by the cars behind him. Half a second separating the cars up for the lead. Not too much change there recently. Here comes Skoda now moving out of 6th place. Side by side once again, Alfie and Broughton not leaving anything on the track. Not great exits off the corner for any of them except for Joseph, who isn't going to be able to take too much advantage of it. Might get past Skoda for the corner. Going to be 2 rows of 2x2. Very ambitious there from Joseph. Somehow doesn't hit the back of Alfie, who seems to have the best drive off the corner, moving up to third place past Broughton. Joseph can't make the move stick. One final sector to go. Very few corners. Only around another 15 seconds remaining in this race. This is when they need to be making their moves, but they need to make sure they don't accidentally take each other out. The last thing you want is to be losing any of those positions by penalty. Rounding the final corner, it looks to be Fishy will take the win of the sprint. Leslie second, and the third place finish is going to be the way of Alfie. Skoda and Joseph are side by side. Joseph's going to look to take 5th place. Very close at the line. Less than 300ths of a second between them. Geordie takes 7th place, not 2nd. 8th place going the way of Jack East. EGW on their FVGP debut will be heading home in 9th, and 10th place will head to Champsko, who was leading this race at one point before getting spun around and collected in an incident. Very fast, very hectic 10 laps, but there's still more action to come. A 14-lap feature race will be up next, and the starting order from this race will be reversed once again. Moving over to the Twitch chat, Hale saying F2 with wing damage sucked, it's like a boat. Of course, these cars don't make near as much downforce as the Formula 1 car, so I can imagine any damage can be very difficult to deal with. But on debut, first time in FVGP Formula 1, the top step of the podium going the way of Fishy. Success in Forza, multiple championships over there already, very easily transferring over to success seemingly on the Formula 1 games. Second place going the way of Leslie, third to Alfie. After a very hectic... That wasn't the right keybind in the slightest. After a very hectic sprint race, we now move over to the formation for the feature race. 14 laps ahead of us, and this time a mandatory pit stop will be in effect. Alfie, our pole sitter from qualifying, will be fronting the grid and hoping to get a much better race this time round. Still a third place in the feature race from the back of the grid. It's very impressive, however, not the maximum amount of points that could have been scored. That went the way of Fishy on their debut. A very good drive once again from them, from 9th place all the way up to 1st. Let's see if their skills will be able to transfer over once again for this longer race. Third place starter going to be Joseph Hales, a name that has been very successful in past seasons of FVGP, hoping to be able to take the win for himself. I know there's going to be definitely others rooting for him as well. Moving on, fourth place, JL Broughton will be starting that Kick Sauber liveried car. Fifth and sixth going to Leslie and Geordie. Leslie just losing out the win, having to settle for second during the sprint race. The ART duo hoping to move forward and score big points for their team. Skoda VRS down in 7th, spinning Red Bull at the top of Champsko. Skoda having a very good battle, fighting in that four-way fight for the podium in the sprint race. We'll see if anything more comes during the feature. Champsko in 8th was leading that said sprint race, was collected in an incident, hoping to have better fortunes this time round. EGW starts 9th and Jack East down in 10th, sets the grid for the feature race. Geordie running just a little bit too far forward, will jump and ride on board the car of Broughton for the start this time, as the starting cameras at this track are not the greatest. Lights are coming on, 3, 4, 5 red lights. There's a long hold for the sprint race, it's a much shorter one this time. Looks to be a very good launch there for Hales, and a lot of wheel spin for Broughton, already getting passed by Leslie. Hitting it back out to the cameras, inside line for Fishy, not able to get up too far. Hales already into second, not a good start from Fishy, but a blistering one for Joseph. Half-second gap already up the top of the field, however, will that come down? Having a look there to the inside is Leslie. That's a very ambitious move into turn 3. Someone makes it work, or keeps it on the track. Bit of a spin for Ace in the background. Collision again for Leslie and Fishy, however, this time no damage and no spins. Here comes Broughton having a look at the inside of Leslie. Big lockup for the Williams liveried car, and loses that position out to Broughton. Single file, calm start for now, but we know how quickly the action can start to get running. Almost already a second between second and third place for Fishy. Not having a very good start to this race compared to their fortunes in the sprint, but anything can still happen. They're only one lap down. There's still another 13 racing laps to go. 1:18.734. We're not going to count that as credible just yet. That was a standstill lap. Joseph is going to be right on the back of Alfie, heading towards turn 3. The DRS might be coming open. Not this lap just yet. Having looked to the inside, he's going to be going 2 by 2 towards turn 3. Inside line for Joseph, does get in the lead. Will he have the run out of the corner, though, to be able to keep that position? And Fishy is actually starting to catch up very quickly. Alfie drops back into the slipstream, hoping to make that pass back into the next corner. Is catching, but not going to be enough. He stays single file. Another big lockup from Joseph into the corner. Seems to be a bit of a crux of his so far this round. Caution flags out in Sector 2, and Champsko again seems to have gotten collected and spun round from bad to worse for them. Joseph looking to move away, try and run away with the lead at the start of the race. 7/10 of a second. Bit of contact between Alfie and Fishy. Fishy running to the back of the car ahead. 1:15.461 is going to be the starting fastest lap. A little bit of a wiggle down the straight, trying to warm tyres. Just that little bit more before the next couple of corners. Any little amount will help. Don't want to overdo it though. DRS going to be open for Fishy and for Alfie. Fishy has the advantage of a much looser solution. Moving to the left hand side of the circuit. Will try and get past. Does the move. Fastest Sector 1 from that big slipstream. And now their eyes are going to be hunting down first place. Can they maximise the points haul on their debut? Not if they keep driving like that. Bit of a rear end slide. Don't want to do that too many times, but it's not the worst, as Joseph had his own problems. Fishy getting very close to the back of that AIX car, who goes wide just a little bit through the final few corners for the second sector, and again not perfect line through there. Turns 6 and 7 weren't the best. Fishy's going to have a look to the inside. That's going to be very ambitious if he can make it there. Not going to happen. Backs out of it. Off the track goes Joseph. But that does let him know Fishy is challenging and will be going for it down to turn 1. DRS going to be wide open once again. 1:15.1. Here we go. Going to be side by side. Heading towards turn 1. Backs out of it. Thinks better. Maybe looking for a move down towards turn 3. Doesn't want to give Joseph any of that DRS distance. But there is so many zones on the straights of this track. You're not going to get very easily away from it. Fishy moving up to the lead. Joseph might even fall down to 3rd place, depending on how Alfie can take this corner. Big lock-up from one of them there, heading through the corner. I think that was from the trident of Fishy. Joseph moves back up to 2nd place. Fishy moving across the track, trying to give the slipstream to Joseph to try and cause these two to start fighting into the next corner. And fighting they are. It's going to be 2 by 2. Big lockups from all of them, heading through turn 4. Out wide goes Joseph, having to fall back down to 3rd place. While these fight, they are letting Broughton and behind catch up. They're now going to be within DRS range for the next couple of laps. Off the track over the lines once again goes Hales. I think Broughton was just a little bit too far back with DRS, and he was. That rear wing staying shut. Keep an eye on the background though for any position changes. Skoda's going to be having a look possibly against Geordie. It doesn't have anything to it. EGW and Jackie's though down in 8th and 9th will be going for it, possibly into turn 1. Jackie's pulling out very early, very ambitious move. Not going to have anything happen there. Keep an eye on that battle as well. As for 4th place, Leslie and Broughton are swapping around. Skoda and Geordie also swapping into turn 3. Very, very well done executed there from Skoda up to 6th place. Moving back over to the battle though for 2nd place. Fishy running away up the front, but big lock up from said driver into turn 4. Broughton and Leslie still going to be going at it. Broughton's going to have the outside line, the theoretically faster, but Leslie's going to be there. Can't turn on him. Very nearly does. That car getting all sorts of out of shape. Leslie keeping it very well under control and stays in 5th place. 1.75 seconds is the gap between 1st and 2nd. Very impressive off of Davey, but still has to keep it going. We're only finishing lap number 5. Into the pit lane goes Joseph. Already an early stop. Big lockup trying to get slowed down, avoids the penalty. Keep an eye on all the battles. We'll jump back to him and see what tyres he takes and whether or not there's going to be a wing change for that car. Heads in, gets onto the red banded tyres. No wing change for that car, but will drop him down to last place for now. However, will he stay there? Is the big question. Side by side through the corner from Broughton and Leslie. Broughton getting in the better run of the corner, but he will have to defend against that massive straight line speed from the rear assistance that Leslie's going to get. He's going to go the outside line, banging wheels into the corner. Same positions as they were in only a lap ago. Leslie not going to be looking up the inside for fear of getting hit once again. Jumping on board, moving over just a little bit, might be having a look to go to the pit lane, doesn't take it. Very far wide though through the corner, not the greatest of corners, and nobody else bites to take a pit stop this early. Of course, it looked like Hales was on the inverse strategy, so we're going to be waiting a while for the rest of them to come into the pits. All of these guys now running the red banded tyre. Chapsco and EGW moving around. Chapsco into the pit lane. That's a lot of revs and a pit lane speeding penalty. Couldn't get the car slowed down in time. EGW is going to have a look to the inside of Jackie's. Doesn't have enough to make it work. Moving back up further though, Skoda and Geordie are still going at it. Skoda got to 5th place temporarily, having to settle back down for 6th though, as that Alpine liveried car stays ahead for now. Gaps between the front of the grid are starting to get wider. 2.5 between first and second, another 2 seconds between second and third, but that third place fight is still going on. Sooner or later I have a feeling that one of these guys will dive towards pit lane, trying to make an alternate strategy work. Trying to undercut their opponent might be the only way to get a reliable pass done here between these two, considering how hard they're fighting, how equal pace they seem to be. Here comes Broughton once again, the DRS. He's going to have a look to the left-hand side. Leslie's not going to let him have it, but he will get the DRS once again, heading towards turns 2 and 3. We'll jump on board with him. Leslie stays left, Broughton moves to the right. He's going to have an easy pass by DRS, but he's then going to make the corner, and Leslie will get the DRS in reverse. Bit of a lock-up from one of the front two. Also into pit lane went EGW 483. Hale's already up to 8th place. Here comes Leslie once again to the inside of the corner, locks the wheels. Bit of contact between the two. They both keep it on track. No damage on either of them, it looks like to me. Leslie has moved ahead. For how long will it last? It's now going to be, once again, having to defend from that massive DRS. He's staying over the right-hand side of the track, though. He might be having a look to go to pit lane. You just got to make sure you don't fall out of those lines. If you do, you'll miss it. It does go into pit lane. Both of them heading to pit lane. I'm not sure if Broughton made the entry lines, but neither of them want to give up much time to each other. Just going to get down to the pit lane start. Don't get yourself a penalty. Both of them avoid it. Also into pit lane went Alfie. That leaves only Fishy and Geordie up at the front yet to pit, along with the possibility of Jackie, who is now heading into pit lane himself. Jumping over to Joseph. Where's he going to come out? All those cars still cycling through for the pit stops. He's going to get an easy 3rd place, and there's going to be no traffic around him. So he can now just focus and hot lap, try to catch his way back up to those front two. But he will be on the worst tyre. He's going to have more wear and less grip, both from the tyre and from the wear rate, against the other two by the end of the race. And of course now he has to be watching behind him at all times. Well, he does have about a 2.5 second gap to this closest car. All those cars are going to be on the more grippy tyre for the rest of this race. Into the pit lane goes Fishy. Geordie looks to be heading in as well, a little bit outside of the lines, gets all collected together. Now, the story will be, where does Joseph come out in relation to these two? We'll follow along with him. Fishy's car is rolling again. Never mind, it is only pulled into the box now. I thought that car's box was a lot earlier in the pit lane, rounding the final corner. A little bit wide, not the best of exits it looked like to me. Fishy's car is now rolling, so is Geordie's. Gets past the one, gets past the other, but that car will be able to cut through the inside of turn 1, get back up to pace. Little bit of contact, possibly to the inside of the corner from Fishy, but Joseph and I are up a second, 1.2 seconds into first. Alfie will be able to secure 3rd place. Leslie and Broughton, the last two cars to get past Geordie. And those two are also still going to be fighting each other. They're going to be side by side once again. Both DRSs into turn 3, falling into line as Broughton doesn't want to make too much of anything. Has a look to try and get the better exit off the corner. Can't yet do it, but will still get the DRS helping. Fishy is already within DRS range of Hales, but has a big twitch into the corner. Keeps it under control, but falls back outside of a second. Broughton and Leslie still swapping positions further back in the grid. Keep an eye on that interval up at the lead of the race. It is back under a second, but only just about. It might still change. But of course, Alfie's going to be in that fight as well. We could see a 3-way fight for the lead heading over the final 4 laps of this race. And it is going to be advantage Fishy and Alfie. Can experience beat out the tyre grip? 1:14.969 on the super softs for Alfie, 1:14.893. Joseph's going to see those times. He's going to know that he can't match that on his tyre. Wide goes Leslie. They're going to be fighting for the lead. We'll jump up back to the front. Having a look down the inside, huge gains there from Fishy. Double front lock though, falls back into line, doesn't want to cause any problems, but going wide is Joseph, gets up into first place, gets the better run off the corner, and the DRS assistance is going to be Fishy up to the lead again. What can Joseph do in retaliation? Doesn't have the grip, doesn't have the DRS, and doesn't have the speed. Can he do the better line? A little bit of a lockup from both of them. Fishy gets the better run off the corner, just having more grip. Broughton and Leslie still fighting each other. Leslie running off the road. Broughton possibly pushing the other car off the track. It is going to be very, very much tooth and nail up at the front of the track. All these cars within a second of each other will jump on board the final two corners with Alfie. You can see gaining just a little bit through the corners on that AIX car in front. Will be gaining a lot in a straight line, both of them against Fishy. Fishy moving to the right hand side, trying to look switching. Joseph follows to stay in it. Alfie doesn't. It's a very interesting move. Neither of them are going to be gaining too much towards the next corner, but there's another DRS zone here that they can use, and there's another one after turn 3. Big gains in the straight line there for Alfie, even getting on Hale, who also has the DRS assistance. That car is just faster in a straight line, it looks like, but whether or not that is from a better run out of the corner or from less downforce, we are not currently sure. He's going to have another attempt at DRS. He's going to be getting ever closer to the back of Hale's. All of them not having the best time through that corner, a little bit of locking up, a little bit of oversteer from all of them. Caution out in sector 2, a car spun around. That looks to be the car of Skoda, having spun out of turn 3. No problems there, gets it back going again without bother. Here comes Alfie, having a look to the right hand side of the circuit, the right hand side of the screen, sorry. Outside is not going to work at turns 9 and 10 unless you are feeling extremely brave. Only 1 and a bit laps to go, and there's still a very, very decisive fight. Big locking there from Fishy. Side by side into the corner goes Broughton and Leslie in the background. I think it's going to stay 4th place for Broughton, still there. DRS once again for all of them. Too wide up at the front. Fishy and Hales are stewing side by side. Better line for Fishy, the better tyres. Alfie having a look to the inside as well. It's going to come on the outside through the next 2 corners. And he stick around the outside. Does he have the grip? Does he have the bravery? The answer is no. Both of them, but Joseph runs wide. Having a look to the inside, it's going to be Alfie not going to be able to make anything work for there. Maintaining 1, 2, and 3, the same order as they started the lap in, but things are getting ever tighter continuously. They're going to have 1 more lap to decide the order of the podium. Who's going to get the win? Who's going to come out the best? And who is going to walk away the last of this group? Coming on board once again with Alfie. DRS is massively helping him out here, keeping him in this fight. The same can be said though for Joseph. He does have the experience, but he does not have the grip currently. Having a look to the right hand side, DRS helping. He's going to have the inside of the turn 3. Fishy's going to have to go the long way around. Which one of them is going to get the corner? This is going to be very decisive. Running to the back of Fishy does Alfie. Very poor exit. That's going to be huge. And off the track, retiring, crash out, is going to be Joseph, losing the position from a podium finish down to minimal points. Big spin there for Fishy, losing it just a little bit. Still half a lap roughly to go though, or these two to figure it out. Hale's leaving. You can imagine a disastrous end and a very unhappy, very unhappy race. On board, there's going to be a sliver of a DRS zone left for Fishy if they want to make anything happen. Doesn't have the rest of the way through turn 9. Has a better run through turn 10, but Alfie about equals it. It's going to be a pole to a win. Into the wall in frustration goes Fishy. Broughton will come home an unlikely 3rd place after the incident. I think Geordie might get Leslie on the line by 8 milliseconds. It is Leslie in 4th. 5th place going to Geordie, a solid performance from ART between those two. Champsko recovering up to 6th place, but with a 10-second penalty. Will not see him finish in that position. Instead, he'll be moving down to 7th place. Eighth place going the way of Jack East, 9th to EGW, and 10th, the final point, going the way of Joseph because of this incident on the replay. A little bit of coming together. Fishy gets loose and bounces into the side of Joseph. That's going to be one possibly for the stewards to pay attention to later on. First race back, and already quite a dramatic end. Top step of the podium, though. MP Motorsport. Interesting to hear that we don't have the celebration theme on the spectate view anymore. However, not too much of a loss. First place in that race going the way of Alfie. Second place to Fishy, but that might not remain that way depending on if any inquiries come later in the race. Broughton takes 3rd place, an unlikely 3rd to round out the podium. Once again, doesn't look like we're going to be able to see the end screen before it boots us out.